Today we are going to be doing some basic Python math. Super simple. I'm not procrastinating. It's definitely not almost New Year's. Yes, this is what I'm going to do in my free time. Okay, so there's a couple ways you can actually do math. So one way you can do it is actually just in your Python terminal. Um, for my IDE, I typically always use Visual Studio Code. And in it you can, boom, input, output, super basic. But, well, you can just use a calculator for that. That's pretty boring. So let's say, you want to actually do some math. So you can also do it, 1 plus 1, or let's just say a equals 1 plus 1, and then we just want print a. We're going to be super basic code. We're just going to save this. Oh, it did not like that. Let's do this. Sorry about that. So I need to open a new file. We've got Python, and we're just gonna save as test1. Okay, so let's continue a. A equals 1 plus 2. Thank you, keyboard. Print, and so this is just gonna print out the variable. So it's the equation, and then the computer will solve for a, and then it will display in this terminal here a, which is 3. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Let's make it slightly more complicated. Let's say I want to have a pre-stored variable. Let's say I want to find tau, which is 2 times pi. I could do 2 times 3.14159. But what if I want to be more precise and I don't have to think about memorization? Well, then you use the number one helpful thing, which is a math library. And this is pretty much default. The import math is this kind of this gold standard. It's a module. Sorry, I'm thinking more of a Arduino. Anyway, so this allows us to do functions like math dot square root, and so that allows you to actually do square root functions. Actually super useful. Also, something to note in Python is you can't use a caret to indicate a power. What you should do instead is a double star, I guess. Okay, so we're going to do math dot, and I could do, a cosine, quite a good selection of functions. Now, of course, I could use directly tau, but we're just going to be doing pi. So, this should be tau. But let's compare this 2 times that, which is b. So let's new variable. And it's just going to be math.tau. Now, how do we differentiate this? If we do print b, we could just memorize it, but that's not very helpful in a larger function. So, well, you label it. So you want to put a parentheses, or a quote, I'm sorry. Let's say it's a colon and okay, and then a comma. And so that means it's going to display this, but it's going to display the value of the variable after the comma. So that way, you know. is which without actually having to completely always remember your code. So let's run that. And as you can see, A and B are the exact same value. Pretty simple. Pretty easy. But like, you could run a whole string of variables. Okay, well, we figured out how to use the math function. And, let's find the square root of tau. And boom, it's 2.5. Alright, pretty simple again, let's say we add another variable. What if I don't want to multiply it by 2? Let's say I want to multiply both of these by the same variable, but I don't want to keep typing it because it's really long. Let's say it's, 8.564789 or whatever. I want to multiply all of these by this number. How do I do that? Well, just need a new variable. We're going to set this as v. Why not? Okay, well, all we need to do is multiply it by v. And it will take care of the function for us. Pretty easy. There we go. That's our output again. Yeah, there's not too much to it to super basic math. Here's an example code of some astrodynamics homework for a question. As you can see, we've got things like, so using a pound sign allows you to write comments, Something also to note is variables can be more than one variable, and they are, prone to capitalization. And of course my code is not the best here, but, it works, and it's clear enough to me, so. Yeah, so as you can see, you can do a lot of math steps all at once. So, let's say you're doing the same process a bunch of times, so we'll have a computer do it, but then just change your input values. That way you don't have to do the exact same thing over and over again. And then I'd like to also have this is more of a quality of life. I put these below and before, so that way when you do a calculation, it's very simple to see what I've just calculated. Let's say I want to also make sure I know what what the value of v is. Let's say I want, that's my variable. It's like a slider type of thing. So, let's also do that. You want to make sure that you actually display what you want. And there you go. I'm being dumb. Oh, yeah, the W might not help me. There you go. Okay, so, yeah, that's pretty much all you need to know for basic math in Python. So Visual Studio Code works pretty well. You can also use Spider. Spider I use if there's a bug in my code, and the good old-fashioned trick of restarting Visual Studio Code didn't work. Yeah, it's not too complicated. 15 minutes until midnight. It's still 2021. I got time. But yeah. I feel like there's not that much more I can say or show, as it's just super basic. So I guess I can show more about the math module. So let's say I want a variable, let's say it's f, and it's going to be equal to math dot, let's say, No, I don't know. Cosine of 1. Although I don't need a calculator for that. So that way you can also print. I'm not going to keep typing in everything because I'm lazy. But there you go. So you got F. So you can treat it like a calculator, but you can also do it like this. You know, you can put it directly in the terminal. It's just this allows you to do the same steps over and over again, have a file of it. So I prefer much over using just the terminal. I'm sorry for yawning, I'm rather tired. I wanted to make sure that I get an extra video out before the timeline ends. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you learned something. Have a very nice day.